What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Yeah, I am finally here to make another video, and if you got a problem with that, well, as I said last week to my girl after she tried to tell me about her day, that's nice. Anyways, today we are actually going to be doing a video on grand charms. I have had a couple of people ask me, hey, think you can make a video about how to craft grand charms? So I decided, yes, I could do that. Before we continue, let me just give a huge shout out to Adam Suter. Yes, the only member of this channel. You're freaking awesome, bro. Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm James, Brandon's twin brother. I'm his editor. I know, strange, but it's true. So my idiot brother forgot to mention that there is a second channel member now. His name is Sledgehammer. So I have to come onto here and do his job for him and say thank you very much, Sledgehammer, for joining the channel. And now back to my dumbass brother. If you guys want to be a member too, feel free. And you will also get a shout out. And one more shout out before we jump in here to Deligus, because he is the reason I can make this video today. He hooked me up with some testing unique jewels. And these are jewels that are just basically blank, but they count as a unique jewel. I'll show you really quick. See, you can see there's nothing really there. Some of these recipes, you will need unique jewels. They are very hard to find. And I did not have the time to actually spend the next 6 years trying to find enough unique jewels for all the videos that I'm going to need to make. And this video would not be possible without him. Thank you very much. Other than that, let's just go ahead and get in to today's video of how to craft grand charms. All right, I am going to go ahead and try to make this as easy and quick as possible for everybody. Also, I will do my best to make sure I put in chapters this time, because I did have some people when I made the last video about rings being like, hey man, give me chapters, this thing's way too long. And it's really just going to depend on how lazy I am, which unfortunately for most people here, I am extremely lazy. So there's a good chance it won't even end up happening, but I guess we'll see. Future branding can decide that later on. Okay, so the first charm we're going to be making is probably going to be best suited for you melee players out there. This is going to be a health grand charm. And to make this one, you are going to need a grand charm, surprise, surprise. You will also need a regular magic jewel, an L rune, and an M rune. Now that we have those, we're going to throw those into the cube. We're going to hit transmute and take a look. Let me put this in the middle of the screen. We now have Ghoul Eye. Obviously, these names will probably change, but this right here is going to give you 115 attack rating, adds 8 to 15 maximum fire damage, adds 15 to 24 weapon lightning damage. Also going to add 13 to 20 weapon cold damage. This one gave us 54 to life and replenish life of 28. And if I remember correctly, you're not necessarily always going to get this. Your character level will affect the grand charm. And what I mean by that is I am level 95, I believe, on this sorceress. So I ended up getting, what was that, 5-6 affixes. I believe the only two that you're actually guaranteed to get at basically any level would be the 2 life and the replenish life on there. But they can roll at different variables. So for example, this right here could give you 40 to 60 to life. It could also roll as 20 to 30 to replenish life, which that is a lot of replenish life in my opinion. There isn't too many items I've seen that really give you that high of replenished life. And I could only imagine if you actually stack these in your inventory, you could get a crap ton of replenished life. So just be aware that you're not necessarily going to get all of these affixes on here. It's really going to depend on your character level. Now, with this one out of the way, let's go ahead and put that into the inventory so that we can move on to the next. Up next, we have the exact opposite of that, and this one's going to be for mana. You will need another grand charm. You're going to need another magic jewel. You will also need a L rune and a soul rune. Let's go ahead and put that into the cube now. There we go. And I actually cannot use this because it's level 97, but this one gave us 36% enhanced weapon damage. Again, these can roll at different variables, so do not be surprised if you do not get this exact charm. That's not how this works. But this one also gave me, adds 11 to 25 weapon lightning damage, 10 to dexterity, 8 to energy, 59 to life, replenish life plus 10, which is not normally on this. This will only ever roll with the extra 2 mana and the mana regeneration. And this can roll anywhere between 40 to 60 for the mana, and also it can roll between 8 and 12 for the mana regeneration. I think I just got lucky here to actually get a little bit of replenish life and life added to this, unless I just screwed up somehow and I just somehow merged that with the other one. Did I do that? No, I didn't. So yeah, this one is actually pretty effing cool, and I'm probably gonna hold on to that, and I might even use that. In fact, I probably will use that when I reach level 97. So that is a win right there. Up next, again, for you melee players, if you need a little bit more faster attack speed, well, this would be the Grand Charm that you would probably want to make. And for this one, you are going to need a Grand Charm. You will also need a Magic Jewel. You're going to need an L rune and a Shell rune. Let's go ahead and put that into the cube now. Hit transmute. Move that over. And as you can see here, we actually only got 8% increased attack speed. Not that that is the worst or anything, but definitely could be better. That can roll between 5 and 10%. Everything else on this was just luck of the draw. It's still not that bad though. It's still pretty good. Me personally, I don't really care about attack speed because I am a caster type, so I don't think I'll ever be really using this. But if you need something like that, then go ahead and make it. And now you know how. All right, let's go ahead and throw that back into our inventory and move on to the next one. Now, this next one is one that I'm actually interested in, and I can't see myself actually using this one. This is going to be for some faster cast rate. So yes, I'm sure all of you Sorceress players are probably happy to hear that. So you're going to need yourself a Grand Charm. You're going to need a Magic Jewel, also an L rune, but this time a Dull rune. Let's go ahead and throw that into the cube, shall we? Go ahead and hit that transmute, and there we go. Eeks, I only got 9% faster cast rate, but on a charm, that's still not bad at all. In fact, that's almost top tier when it comes to charms. I think this can only go up to 10%, so I will take that 9%. This one rolled with some weapon damage. Again, I don't really care about that, so that's a little unfortunate. Gave me some dex, which I don't need. I'll take the extra energy. Cold res and poison res, though, is really good, especially in this version of Diablo 2. So all in all, I would say this is a pretty badass charm, and I would definitely use that. Of course, it kind of sucks, though, that it has to be level 99, but that, again, is only because I am rolling these at level 95, which you do not have to do. And again, you can do this at a much lower level if you come across the materials. So let's go ahead and pop that back in our inventory. There we go. I don't know why I went over there. You stay here with the rest of your little friends, and we need to move on to the next one. So this one is one that I actually like a lot because this one is going to be giving you more experience. So if you need a charm that will give you more experience, then this is the charm that you need to roll. And I'm going to go ahead and stop for a minute here because this just reminded me of something that I wanted to talk about and had absolutely no idea how to bring it up in any of my videos. And then this just kind of fell into my lap. So I guess this is how we're going to do this. When I make my videos, guys, sometimes I get comments from people when I talk about the rune words. People being like, oh man, you know, like you don't understand, you know, for like a level 58 character, right? This rune word is effing amazing. And I think that you don't get that. And I don't understand why you don't like the rune word if this can be basically best in slot for a character at that level. When I play this game, I'm trying to level up my characters as fast as humanly possible. And I guess it was my own naivety when it comes to considering the other kinds of people that are playing this right now. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, most people playing this game have probably been playing for years and years. And I guess I just assume that you're a lot like me, right? Like you've been playing this for so long that you don't really care about being level 58. And in fact, most likely, you're only going to be level 58 for all of 25 minutes at tops. At the very most, right? I mean, I can level a character up to level 80 in less than a day. And I'm pretty sure most people can do that as well. So sometimes I don't really factor that into my rune word videos because what's really going on is I'm sitting there thinking to myself, is this rune word really worth it for me to go out and make when I can just suffer, not even a lot, just a very little bit, right? For 2 hours and then make the higher level rune word that I want. And it just doesn't feel like it's worth it to me to make whatever rune word it was to have it at a lower level because I'm only gonna be between levels 40 and 60 for like a couple hours at the very most. So sometimes maybe it seems like I think some of the rune words aren't the best, but it's really because I'm looking at it through that lens. Where to me, the rune word knowledge is almost more valuable than the runeword spirit, at least for a while in the game, simply because it gives me more experience gain. And I don't want to be level 40 for the next 3 hours, right? I don't want to have to sit there and grind for that long to get my character up to those higher echelon tiers of levels. So I'm out there grinding freaking terror zones. I'm out there grinding every single thing that I can do that's going to give me more experience as fast as possible. And especially before they came out with the enhanced experience potions, knowledge was very valuable to me. And if I remember correctly, back then too, it was like 20% to experience gained. And I would much rather have that on a sword than I would even spirit, at least until I'm like level 60 something or 70, right? So I apologize for that little tangent, but it just gave me a reason to actually explain that, because I think some of the commenters on some of my runeword videos actually think that I believe that these other, mid-tier runewords are just straight up trash. It's not that I think they're trash. It's that I personally wouldn't use them because I'm not going to be in the levels, right, to use said runeword, whatever it is, for very long. So because I'm not going to use it for very long, it doesn't really feel valuable to me. So anyways, I apologize for that little rant. So let's just go ahead and continue. And so now to make this Grand Charm, you're going to need a Grand Charm. You will also need a Magic Jewel. You will need an L rune and a Hell rune. We're going to go ahead and put those once again into the freaking cube. And there we go. So this actually rolled with +1 to combat skills. It's going to give us 14 to 22 weapon lightning damage. Also 10 to 18 weapon cold damage, 10 to strength, 8 to vitality, 49 to mana, which is actually a lot for a charm, so that's pretty cool. Holy crap, it even gave me 10 mana regeneration. If that +2 whatever skills up there was plus the sorcerer skills, I would be jumping up and down for joy right now, because this would be great. Obviously, aside from the weapon damage, I don't really care about that. Once again, I've already said that like 18 times in this video, but I'm going to say it again. But as you can see, there it is right there, our +7% to experience gained. This has a required level of 87. So I would actually use this because I will take anything that's going to give me more to experience gained. And to be even more specific, I'm totally fine with it being a required level of 87 because it's those later levels where you're going to spend the most time actually playing the game. So this one gets a thumbs up and I will save that. I might even end up using that after this video. Okay, so the next Grand Charm that we are going to be trying to roll is going to be giving us more dexterity, more strength, and enhanced damage. So to make this one, you will need a Grand Charm, a rare jewel, not just a magic jewel, you need a rare jewel now, a co-rune, and a foul rune. Let's go ahead and put that into the cube. Go ahead and hit the transmute, and here we go. We get, oh man, look at that. That's actually pretty badass. So we got 10% faster run walk, 20% enhanced weapon damage, adds 20 to 37 weapon cold damage, 29 weapon poison damage over 3 seconds. And this one rolled pretty high, actually, because it rolled with 19 to strength, 15 to dex, and 22 poison resistance. And both of those can only roll between 15 and 20, so I guess the dexterity was a minimum roll, but I will take the 19 the strength, especially if I'm a melee character. And the little extra poison res on there too is pretty badass. So yeah, I still think this is a great charm. So if you are a melee character and you need something like this, go ahead and make that for yourself. But to be 100%, I think that's just a great Grand Charm. Pretty much all around for just about any character, simply based on the resistance, the strength, the dex, and I got lucky and got that faster run walk too. So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. And up next, we are going to be talking about a Grand Charm that is going to be giving you more defense and a little extra weapon damage to boot. So to make this, you will need a Grand Charm. You're going to need another rare jewel. You will need an L rune and a pull rune. Relatively cheap to make, guys. So the thing you need to also be considering here is you can make more than one of these charms. So you can really make yourself some powerful Grand Charms. So if you've been wondering why some people seem so powerful, this is probably one of the reasons why. So let's go ahead and hit transmute. Move that over. We're going to take a look at that. Well, I got lucky again because I got 11% faster run walk. I got 13% faster hit recovery. Man, I wish I could put this on my mercenary. I know we can't do that, but woo, that would be great. That would be amazing for my mercenary right there. I would definitely love to give him this. Emilio needs something good in his life for once. It's also going to add 15 to 25 weapon damage, adds 20 to 25 weapon lightning damage, 97 defense, 81 to life, replenish life plus 10, and I got lucky and got 22% lightning resistance. Another great charm, but unfortunately, I cannot use this till level 99, but I will still definitely use it nonetheless. All right, so the next grand charm that we are going to be making is going to be a grand charm that's going to give you more all resistance. So if you're having some issues with your resistances and you're a high enough level to equip this grand charm, but again, please remember that you can make this at lower levels. You just won't get as many affixes. Yes, I am pretty sure I forgot to explain that, but I am explaining that now. The way that it works is at lower levels, you get less affixes. The only two that will be guaranteed are the ones that usually are whatever the grand charm is being made for. In this case, it's only all res, but the higher up you go in level, the more affixes you will get. But enough of the explaining, let's go ahead and make our all resistance grand charm. You will need a grand charm, you're going to need a rare jewel, you're also going to need an L rune and an rune, and let's put that into the cube. And before I hit transmute, there is a small chance that if you're a high enough level when you're rolling this, that you could get a charm that will also give you +2 skills. You know, whatever skill is going to be randomized. It's not necessarily going to be your class, but there is still a chance that you can also get a grand charm with +the skills on it for whatever character you happen to get it for. So let's go ahead and push the transmute button though for our all resistance charm. And for this, we got a whole bunch of amazing resistances right there. We got 32 to cold resistance, which probably means that this one rolled with cold resistance as one of its random affixes, because otherwise it looks like we probably would have gotten 9 to all resistance, which is a lot to have on a grand charm for all res. Now, if you are wondering, this can roll anywhere between 8 and 12 all resistance. If you need more, go ahead and use that recipe, and that is how you can get yourself more resistance. I did get a couple of other affixes on here, probably don't need to go through every single one, but this is a great grand charm, and I will love to have that, especially when I can use that at whatever level it was, 82. I guess I can use it right now. But let's go ahead and talk about the Magic Find grand charm. It's also going to give you a little bit of gold find as well, which is appropriate because it is going to use a Ist rune, which is definitely known, as you can see here, for all of its magic find. So let's go ahead and throw this into the cube. You need a grand charm, an Ist rune, an L rune, and a rare jewel. So pop those in, push transmute. Let's take a look at that. And it did give us 50% extra gold from monsters and 30% magic find. Now this one, again, I got really lucky. Holy crap, this is amazing. I got 57 to mana and 10 mana regen. I will probably use this for my sorceress once I get up to level 99. That is great. Let's move that to the side, and we are going to start talking about some of the most important grand charms in Diablo 2 Resurrected Reimagined, and that is going to be +2 skills charms, otherwise known as skillers. Now we can just make them. You don't need to go out and just look for these charms and hope that you get lucky, because these are going to be the recipes on how that you can guarantee yourself some more +the skills. Now this will be a random skill tab, so it won't necessarily be just +the barbarian skills unless you get really lucky, you just happen to get that. Most of the time it's just going to be a random skill tab. So let's talk about the very first one here, and that is going to be for a character that will probably need as many of these as they can possibly get, and that is the barbarian. And now to make this grand charm for your barbarian, you are going to need a grand charm, obviously, a rare jewel. You also need a Thol rune, a Vex rune, and a ruby. And if you are wondering why that looks different, it's because I made absolutely no mistakes at all and totally did not have to restart the video and fix some of the mistakes I just made there. Everything was perfect. I did not mess up anything, and I totally did not make a charm that gave me skills to be an assassin and a paladin at the same time. That didn't happen. That would never happen. But anyways, let's go ahead and move on with this. And we got our grand charm. Blah, blah, blah. You guys can see it, and you know what I'm talking about. So go ahead and hit transmute. And now, as you can see, we got +1 to masteries for the barbarian, which is freaking great. That actually was a pretty good roll, and we get that +8 to all resistance. Wow, 54 to life, replenish life, +10. This is a great barbarian charm right here. And if I was a barbarian main, I think I would be pretty happy to have this grand charm. Man, can you imagine having a whole bunch of these and just destroying things with your axe? I think that'd be a good time. Now, if you want to be able to do this for your assassin, even though you have dual mosaics and you probably don't need anything to help you whatsoever, in fact, you can probably just get through hell even without having any single charm whatsoever or any resistances. As long as you can build up your charges, you're going to destroy everything. But let's just say you don't have that. What you will need is a grand charm. You will need a rare jewel, full Vex rune again. I think you guys can see the pattern. And you're going to need a topaz. Hopefully I do this correctly this time and I do not have to start over again. Go ahead and hit the transmute button, and there we go. So I got 1 to martial arts, +1 to shadow disciplines. The reason that happened is because even though you are rolling this grand charm, like specifically for this +1 to an assassin skill, you can actually get +1 as an affix on there as well, but it is random. I just got really lucky this time for it to actually both be assassin skills, and I will show you an example because the last time I did this, it actually gave me a paladin skill too. So there is always a chance that when you are rolling these, you can get a grand charm that has +1 to a certain skill and +1 to another skill. I do not know if that means that you could luck your way, or I guess some people would call it finesse their way, into having +2 to martial arts or +2 to shadow disciplines, but maybe that could actually happen. You would have to have a lot of materials to do it and a lot of patience, but I have a feeling you could probably get that done. Now, I did get some other affixes on here, but again, that's just because I'm at level 95. Now, this gave me 19 to dex, which is a lot. Also, you get that vitality and a little bit extra energy, but if you're a mosaic assassin, you don't really need any energy. You just need to smash things in the face. And if you're not playing a mosaic assassin, why are you still not playing a mosaic assassin? Moving on to the next one. All right, so this is going to be for the sorceress players out there. And for this, you will need a grand charm, a rare jewel, full Vex rune, but this time you will need a sapphire. Go ahead and throw those into the cube now. Hit the transmute button, and you will see that I just got +1 to fire skills, which absolutely does not help my Nova Sorceress whatsoever. But I know the fire sorceress is pretty powerful right now. So if you did have a fire sorceress and you did want to actually make one, this would be the best time for you to do it. Unfortunately, I got some weapon fire damage, yada yada. Again, I'm not really smacking things with my orb, so I don't really need it or the attack rating, but I'll still take the plus to skills nonetheless. But all in all, decent charm right there, and I will go ahead and hold on to it for the day that I completely forget to take my meds and think to myself, man, I don't want to play a Nova Sorceress anymore. I'm just going to play with fire, and hopefully I don't burn down my house. Now, up next, we are going to be talking about how to do this for a druid, which, if you noticed, I made earlier in the video, but I tried to edit it, and hopefully I edited it to the point where you didn't even notice that I screwed up and made that. But anyways, you will need a grand charm, also a rare jewel, a Thol rune, a Vex rune, and this time, the green one, whatever this is, an emerald. You get it? Because it's for a druid. You know, they love the earth and all that stuff. Anyways, okay, so opening it up, you're going to put everything into the cube, like so. Hit transmute, and we are now back to the grand charm. I don't know why I decided to make a dramatic pause there, but it just felt fitting. So now I have +1 to shape-shifting skills. Also, you get some weapon damage there. You're going to get 10 to dex. That was all random. I don't know why I'm repeating this stuff again. I think it is just force of habit. But anyways, as you can see, this is a pretty good charm. And if you were a shape-shifting druid, I think you would like this. The mana regen you might not really need. The 45 to mana you might not really need. But I will say the summon druid right now is pretty good. I've seen some people in my comments say that the summon druid is crap. I don't get that. I think the Summon Druid is probably in the best place it's ever been. And I'm pretty sure there's other people that would actually fight you tooth and nail on that one. So if you want to jump in the comments and talk about how you think the shape-shifting Druid is garbage, I guarantee you there's going to be some people in there that'll be like, nah, you're wrong. And here are the reasons why. But anyways, instead of doing that today, we're just going to move on. Put that up there. I can't believe I just made this many charms. Or did I? That's the question. So let's say you want to make this for your Necromancer. You will need a Grand Charm. You will need a Rare Jewel, a Thul, a Vex, and 1 Skull. Go ahead and put that in the cube there. Hit Transmute yet again. Sounds like a song. We got +1 to curses. We also got a little bit of weapon damage there. Fire, cold damage, some dex, a little bit of energy. Might not necessarily need it, but your Necromancer will thank you for it. Except for the fact that you have to wait till you're 99 to actually use this. But then again, you don't really need curses until the higher levels anyways, so maybe that would actually be a benefit for you, because again, I don't really feel like you necessarily need that until you're a super high level. Well, I guess you really could use it right now in hell around level 70 or so. So it is a little bit sad that this isn't a little lower, but again, if I was a lower level, I would have been able to roll it a little bit lower. I just wouldn't have gotten so many affixes. And to be 100% though, if I got this with just the curse on there, the +9 for dex and the +8 for energy at like level 60, with only those 3 affixes, I would probably be elated and take it. I don't think anybody would disagree with that one. I don't see why you would. So boom, that's how you're going to do that for your Necromancer. And again, you can just simply do this over and over if you have enough materials and re-roll them until you find exactly what you want. So now we're going to talk about a class that I know absolutely almost nothing about, and that is going to be the Amazon. So you need a Grand Charm yet again, a Rare Jewel, Fall Rune, Vex Rune, and an Amethyst. Let's go ahead. Here we are, putting this into the cube. Once again, hit Transmute, there we go. And as you can see here, I got lucky again because I actually got +1 to Javelin and Spear skills, but I also got +1 to Bow and Crossbow skills. Although, I do suppose that if you were an Amazon, you're probably going to be one or the other and don't really care about whichever one of those you're not using. But still, I will take 2 skills over no skills. And I got lucky again with a little bit of mana and some mana regeneration, and that weapon damage would probably be pretty damn good for an Amazon. So I think I'd be happy with that if I actually did roll this. But let's go ahead and talk about the most hated class in all of Diablo 2. The class that needs the absolute most work and really needs some buffs, because it is just so nerfed right now that nobody wants to even play as this class. And I don't know how they could fix it. I don't know, maybe adding some projectiles or something, but that class, yes, is going to be the Paladin. So for a Paladin, you're going to need a Grand Charm, a Rare Jewel, also a Thul Rune, a Vex Rune, and a Diamond. Let's go ahead and pop that into the cube. Go ahead and push that Transmute, there we go. And we have +1 to combat skills, +1 to summoning skills for the Necromancer, which is a little weird. By the way, did you know that if you play as a Paladin and you try to use a Necromancer curse, you'll actually damage yourself? Because it's like a dark art, right? And the Paladin's supposed to be in the light, as they say. So yeah, good luck with that. Don't be doing that, because you can actually damage yourself if you use Necromancer skills as a Paladin. Now, this did roll with some energy, which is cool, and a little bit of resistance, which I will always need. Since I'm a Paladin, I will take the weapon damage, the dexterity, and the vitality. So I would probably be pretty happy, especially because I could equip this at level 64, which is pretty early, considering all the affixes on there and everything I get with it. Now, would it have been cool if it maybe rolled with another affix 4 plus to skills for the Paladin? Yeah, but I'll take this. And I mean, that's pretty badass. I don't think you can disagree that that's pretty badass. So put that away. We only have 2 left. Technically, the last one isn't just 2, because you can do this with any Sunder Charm. Yes, you can re-roll your Sunder Charms now to add more affixes to them, and it's pretty badass. But before we get to that, this is how you're going to add plus to all skills onto a Grand Charm. Yeah, you can do that. You're going to need a Zod Rune, which, to be fair, in D2RR really isn't that hard to actually get. Now, they're not going to be raining from the sky or anything, but I think what do I have? 25 Zod Runes, And this is my actual legit count. So Deligus out there, this isn't me like just taking a bunch of runes that I was able to get. I literally have 25 Zod runes, which is a lot. I do play quite a bit, but still, my point is you're going to be able to find a Zod rune. You will definitely be able to make this. Now, the one that might be hard for you to get is a unique jewel. Now, this is one of those testing uniques I was talking about earlier in the video. I think I have, what's this? Nope. Is it? No, yeah, those are rare. Okay, so in legitimate play, I have two unique jewels. So unique jewels are pretty hard to come by. But if you can find a unique jewel and a Zod rune, then you can go ahead and throw that in the cube with a Grand Charm and an L rune to go ahead and make yourself a Grand Charm that will give you +2 all skills. And as you can see, if I was an Amazon, I'd be pretty happy because I just got lucky. And not only did I get +1 to all skills, but I actually rolled it with +2 javelin and spear skills as well. And we get all that weapon damage, and we're gonna get some dexterity, which an Amazon can use for sure, and a little more vitality. This is a great charm right here. I would be pretty happy, very happy, if I was an Amazon and I got this. And you can put this on a level 64. So yeah, this was a great roll for an Amazon or any player. I mean, I would still use it. I would definitely still use it. Me personally, I'm not going to use it because I told myself anything I make with like test objects, I'm not going to use, because that just straight up be cheating, right? Like, this isn't me making a video being like, oh, hey, look how powerful I am. This is just me trying to show you guys how to do this. So I'm not going to actually use anything that I made with a test jewel like this one. But moving on, we will talk about the Sunders now. And to make yourself a Sunder charm that you can have more affixes on other than the immunity, you're going to put that into the cube. You also need, again, a unique jewel. You will need a Sur rune, and you will need 50 gems from your gem bag. So just take your gem bag. I have 69. That's weird. Anyways, put that into the cube, and then go ahead and transmute. And as you can see, now there's only 19. So it did take our 50 gems, and now we have this right here. Yeah, and that's pretty badass. You get an extra 9 to strength. I don't really need any of the weapon damage. That's just because I'm a sorceress. You're also going to get 11 to all resistances, and I got poison length reduced by 12%. I don't necessarily care about that one, but the simple fact that I could have 11 to all resistances on this is pretty cool. And anything that you can get with more resistance, again, is going to be crucial in D2RR, so you definitely want that. And that is everything that you need to know about crafting grand charms. So if you enjoyed this video, if you found it to be really informative, I would very much appreciate like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. If you think I'm a moron, you are not alone, and there are plenty of people that think that as well. So welcome to the club. That's pretty much all I have to say about that. And everybody have a good day, and thank you for being here. Definitely appreciate every single person that watches my videos. And yeah, I think that's about it. Have a great night. And and to be 100%, if I got this with just the curses, the 90, no. All right, so the first charm we're going to be making is probably going to be and I apologize because I'm going to take a second to explain something really quick because it just popped into my mind, and this is my channel, so I do what the hell I want. And if you don't have a problem with that, and I'm going to stop for a minute here because this just reminded me of something and I apologize, but I'm going to take a second here to explain something because this just brought something into my mind. And I apologize because I'm going to take just 1 second here to explain something because this just popped into my mind because I was just talking about somebody. The rune word knowledge is almost more valuable, especially before we got the enhanced experience potions, because